Stay tuned, guys. Let me know if you guys have any questions. So again, it's your boy Cobe Rising. Coming for you, coming for you.
Everyone know we the realest, a bunch of go-getters. I bet you can tell I'm the illest. You don't need your fingers to feel it. You know I can straight spit, knock you out with a late hit. Feel like I'm the one, like I'm Neo, but this is the real life, not the Matrix. I'm about to go ape shit. Ain't no gotta roll out. I know gotta roll out, yeah.
Going, and we're back. We're live, man. What's going on? It's your boy Cobe Rising. Rise, you dig? We back at it again. As you can see, we're here on a Saturday with my guy. We got Tywin. What's going on, brother?
What's up, man? How are you?
Hey, man, I'm doing well, man. I'm doing really well. Everything is pretty good. Can't complain. Getting everything set up. I did the IG, so I think we're good on IG.
All right, let me find you on there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. What's going on, Dale? I see you tapping in already, man. It's about to be a good show, bro. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I see you, man. Perfect. All right, so I'm about to bring you in. So what we're doing, guys, we're going to go live on IG as well. And we're also going to do it live on YouTube and Facebook. All right, so we're just getting everything set up, man. So, oh yeah, we got some comments kicking in. What's going on, Mims? Let's see. All right, I think we're good on that. I'm gonna put my headphones in just so I won't hear any playback on IG.
No worries.
All right, perfect. All right, I think we're good. What's going on, man?
Man, all is well, dude. All is well, man. Just honestly, good to be on here. Good to chop it up with you again, man. I'm looking forward to this conversation, man.
Bro, man, it was so many people that was hitting me. He was like, "Yo, he was a good guest. We got to bring him on again." I was like, "Yeah, we gonna definitely bring him on. We got to do a part 2." It was good, man. So, everything was going pretty well. So yeah, what's been new, man? I know it's been a minute, so I got to tap in with you.
Man, you know what, man? Life is good. Life is beautiful. The family is good, which is probably the most important thing. Putting God first, that's really the most important thing. Then family's good. And then I think if you kind of get those two under control, everything else kind of takes care of itself.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. I've been seeing the videos. I was like, yo, Tywin going in, y'all. They've been kicking them off. I'm like, you know how you see those like professional Instagram and YouTubers talking about fitness? I'm like, yeah, I can already see it like getting up there.
Man, you know what? A lot of people need our help, man. So it's just, I think it's important we're getting the message out there, man, as well as you're doing the same thing on your end. So it's dope seeing that. Definitely dope seeing that.
Man, I like it, man. It was actually one of my questions too, because like one of the videos that you did, you talked about like how effortless mastering the basics were, right? And I think you used the reference like how Michael Jordan did, and like how great Michael Jordan was, right? And so what he did to be so great was he mastered the basics. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I like how you did that one. You know what I mean?
100%, man. I think sometimes we overcomplicate this thing. And, with the internet and all the information out there, we kind of get overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. So if you just go back to the basic, back to the fundamentals and don't complicate things, You just realize like, oh man, this is easy.
It is
easy, man. And it's fun.
It's fun. I don't see how people get so just confused because, like, to me, like, gaining muscle to me is easy. Losing weight is easy. Like, I don't see how people don't know. It's so much information out there, right? And like, to me, it's basic too. And so, like, I like how you broke it down. So, like, what's like, so for you, like, I know you did the video. What's the basics, right, when it comes to just losing weight in general?
Oh man, I think if you boil it down to the least common denominator, as low as you can go, would be you need to burn more calories than you put it in your body. Like,
exactly.
That's the absolute lowest basic you can go. And anything from there, you're just adding on. Now, is there more to it? Yeah, of course there's more to it, but it's kind of like you would never go and try to write an autobiography, but you don't know your ABCs. Like, you have to establish a foundation. You have to establish a clear framework. And then from there, you just build on that. But if you just jump to trigonometry and you don't know your numbers yet, you're going to have a problem. And that's where a lot of people end up getting stuck. So, like, I understand what you're saying, because I used to say the same thing. I used to say, like, dang, I don't understand how people don't get this.
Yeah.
But then I was like, okay, the majority of people I talk to don't get it. So I can continue saying I don't understand how they get it, or I can find a way to come down to their level where they do understand it and it does make sense. So I started to look at it like this. Mm-hmm. Like for you and me, some of this stuff might be super basic. It would be like, here's an analogy, here's an example. We're in the 12th grade and everybody else is in kindergarten. So to us,
like that,
you know, algebra and trigonometry and all that stuff, we're like, oh, this is basic. How do y'all not understand this? Well, they're still in elementary yet. So it's not that we're any better than them. It's not that we know more than them. It's just we've been on the journey a little bit longer. But here's the dopest thing about this.
Come on, talk to them.
We can speak, like, even though it took us some time. You had the videos, you had to learn, you had to fail, you had to go through all of that. They get to skip all that. See, when I was in school, I never
exactly. Oh, they don't even know. They don't know how hard it was.
I always wanted to skip grades, but I just wasn't smart enough. But like, we have the ability to give people the cheat code. This is why coaches and personal trainers and mentors are so powerful, because it's the ability to expedite time. It's like being in a time machine, right? So it's like so dope, man. That's why it's so dope what we get to do with people, man.
Like, the internet makes it a time machine now. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Like, you can literally go into the future, because it's so much info out there. Like, back in the day, man, I remember, like, even in grade school, we didn't have computers to look stuff up. Like, I remember the teacher said you had to go to the encyclopedia. So you had to do the work, like the hard work, versus like going and just Googling something real quick, right? So nowadays you can do that and everything's just so fast. And in hindsight, I think they look at losing weight like that too. They think, like, since they see these results, they're like, oh, I want to get this result real fast. Yeah. And I'm like, y'all don't know the hard work that is going to have to get to consistent. I'm not going to say hard. It's consistent work that you have to put in. And so many people look at the Z result, but you got to think the alphabet is 26 letters. So you got to go through the steps to get to that end result. And I like what you broke it down. I think you had another video where there was like 4 stages to the what was it? Habitual unconscious. It was something like that.
Oh, how you learn?
Yeah, it was like 4 stages.
Yeah, so it was 4 stages. So you have incompetent, incompetent.
That's it. Yeah.
Which is, you just don't know. You don't know what you don't know. Mm-hmm. So then you get the information. And you're like, so then you have competent incompetence. So it's like, okay, I know, but I need help implementing, or I have to stop and think about it. Mm-hmm. Right. And then you have competence, incompetence, where it's like you know, but you have to think about it. So you're doing good, but you have to think about it. And then you get to the stage where you don't even have to think about it. Mm. So when you start going through these 4, and everybody goes through these 4 stages,
right?
And there's no way to skip them, but you can speed up the process. Mm-hmm. And I kind of want to jump back into something you just said about the information, because I think this is big. I think this is big because I hear people say this all the time. They're like, Well, I can go on Chat GPT and get a workout plan.
Yep.
You can.
I
can get a meal plan here. Half the time I direct people to those things. See, this is where a lot of people think they misunderstand. There's not a shortage of information. Information is not the problem.
Yeah, right.
It's not the problem. Matter of fact, information actually confuses people more because now you have.
There you go. Right. I was about to say, too much can be a problem
because you don't know what to do with it.
Yep.
So, and I see a lot of people scared to give people the information. No, give them the information. Like, we're here to serve people, right? Because we're in an information age. So they're going to get the information, whether it comes from you or whether it comes from someone else. So you might as well give it to them. Here's what people paid me for, and they pay me a lot to do this. Implementation. They pay us to categorize that information because a lot of it's useless. Because here's the thing. 20% of what you do is going to produce 80% of the results.
Come on.
So we can boil it down to a couple of steps that they can do. See, everybody else is trying to do 100 different steps to lose weight, 100 different steps to put on muscle. But I can boil it down to 3 things. Like literally 3 things. And I just say, okay, here's the 3 things, and we're going to focus on one at a time. So, okay, I can do that. So let me kind of give you an example of that. So if I boil it down, we have mindset, we have what you do with your physical body, and we have what you put in your body. Though with those 3 things, I can get you any sort of physical result we want. So again, your mindset, what you physically do with your body, what you put in your body. So already people are like, whew, okay, that sounds much better.
Right.
So then I just say, which one do you want to focus on? Do you want to focus on your mindset? Do you want to focus on how you move your body, or do you want to focus on what you put in your body? Because I don't need to overwhelm you. We can work at one at a time. So they say, okay, I want to work on mindset. Right? Okay. Well, what would be if someone wants to lose weight? Where would we start with that? Well, first of all, we're going to sit down and we're going to make a clear decision of what you actually want. We're going to write that down because most people don't do that. Right. This thought just pops in your head. They're like, oh man, I'd love to lose weight. And then they never think about it again.
Right.
Prime example is New Year's resolutions.
Oh, I can't stand those, man, because they never get to the point.
Right?
Like, everybody has a New Year's resolution, but they don't actually have a goal, a set plan to get there. It's just one of those fads. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that stuff is crazy. And I like what you said because, like, it puts something real. So let's give an example, like a real live example. Let's say someone is, let's say a guy, let's say a young 24-year-old male, and his goal is to build more muscle, right? Let's say his idol is like 50 Cent back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, he want to get shredded, right? Yeah. And let's say the guy's about 6 foot. Let's say he's 160 pounds. Let's say he wants to put on like 20 pounds of muscle. He wants to be like 180. All right. With mindset, what to work out and what to put in his body. What's an example of something that he can do to achieve that type of goal?
Man, I think that's such a great example. It's such a realistic example. So I'm glad you brought that one up. So first thing I would do, let's hit them kind of one at a time. So as far as mindset, we know to put on 20 pounds of actual muscle, it's going to take some time. Here's what people don't want to hear. It's going to take some time. They don't want to hear that.
Like, I want to get it in like 4 months.
Correct. So that's okay. That's okay. We're not going to tell them it's going to, we can just set that aside for a second. So what I would do is I would get very clear. Okay, we know what he wants to do. He wants to put on 20 pounds of muscle because he wants to look like, who did you say?
Like 50 Cent.
Like 50 Cent back in the day. Cool. Next thing I'm like, why? Why do you want that? And then I'm going to ask him, how is that going to impact and change your life? And here's why this is so important. We know on this journey, there's going to be times when it gets tough. There's going to be times when he wants to quit. There's going to be times he doesn't want to do it.
Yep.
So if he doesn't know exactly why he's doing it and how it's going to change his life, he's going to quit.
He's going to quit.
But if he says, here's why I want to do it, because let's just say he's not married. Okay. The reason I want to do it is because I want to make myself more attractive in the dating pool, right? I want to find that person for me. I want to develop more confidence, which if I develop more confidence, that's going to translate to me making more money.
Oh,
right?
go.
Because whether I'm an entrepreneur,
Y'all pay
whether
attention.
I'm
Y'all
a
take some
lawyer,
notes.
I'm gonna make more money, right? I'm gonna become a leader. Leaders get paid more money. People who know what they're doing and know where they're going, people follow them. These are just all facts. So when you start laying out all the different reasons, when you got to get up at 5 a.m. before you got to go to work, it's not just to put on 20 pounds of muscle. It's because when you walk in a room, you demand the attention, and every single female naturally is drawn to you.
Naturally.
Start making more money, so females are just naturally drawn to you. You become a leader, so females are naturally drawn to you. So you start developing all these like points and why, like, bro, doing the work is no problem. It's like every rep you doing, it's like, oh snap.
It makes a different workout. Once you have your mindset on it, the workout is better. Everything you do is better. You wake up with a purpose, and I'm glad you pointed all that out. The point is, like, you want to have a purpose to doing what you want to do. Like you said, if you want to look like 50 Cent, well, what's the reason for it? There's got to be a purpose behind why you're doing it in the first place. And going in the end with the end goal in mind, you'll do everything better. How you do one thing is how you do everything. That's how I like to say it.
And you hit it on the head with the word purpose.
Yep.
See, this is a word that we don't often talk about that much, but we don't understand the power of it. And here's the reality. Men need a purpose.
Facts.
Men need something to chase down. We are designed to be hunters. We are designed to be providers and protectors. We need a challenge. We need something to go after. Like, we're designed for that. Because I'm sure probably maybe you've been at a point in your life. I know I've been at a point in my life where I've been confused. I didn't really have purpose. I didn't really know where I wanted to go. But I knew, like, deep inside, like, I'm supposed to be doing something more than I'm currently doing. I knew that. But I was confused. But then when you find that purpose and you lock in, that's what allows you to jump out of bed and be hungry. That's what allows you to get out of bed and go after it. Because here's the reality. And a lot of men, you sent me.
Oh, no, we can say it, man. Listen, we're good. We got to keep it real because, look, there's people out there that actually, those metrics were done because I know a lot of people have this type of message. So keeping it real is what's going to help bring everything together. You know what I'm saying?
So here's the deal. A lot of men right now, they don't understand what it means to be a man. And being a man is hard. It's hard. Bro, it's supposed to be hard. It's going to be hard. It's going to be challenging because as a man, especially if you're leading a family, which that's the overall goal, you're the leader. The buck stops with you. Yep. You can't complain. You can't whine. You just have to get it done. Look, that's reality.
That's reality.
That's like you want, and I hear men say all the time, like, oh, I want a woman to be submissive. Well, that's very simple. All you have to do is lead.
Lead it.
Because when you lead, a woman will naturally follow. It's just what they would rather do that. It's just, again, that's in their DNA, right? So if you become the leader, quite naturally, a woman, she's just going to follow. So as a man, it's going to be harder. This is why I love the gym so much. I love the gym so much because it's a controlled environment to put yourself under stress.
Yep.
It's a controlled environment for you to learn to deal with pain. Learn how to push through. Learn how to overcome adversity.
Learn how to
all of this translates over into real life. And see, sometimes we don't look at this. We're like, oh, I just want to put on 20 pounds. I understand that's what you want to do, but let me tell you how much your life is going to change. And it's the same thing, like, and you do the same thing, bro. You're like,
exactly.
You're completely transforming people's lives.
Completely. Absolutely. And I love to see it because they feel it. And the look on their faces whenever they see the results, it's like, you can tell like their entire life is like, they're not going to go back to their old life. Like they're completely changed at this point. And I'm all for it, man. We got some comments over here. Let me just be clear about that. We got a lot of guys. He said, interesting. I'm 24 and I'm trying to put on muscle and weight. Well, there you go. Hey man, shout out to my man Showtime in the building. You dig? I didn't know you can use ChatGPT for a workout plan. That's true. You can definitely do that. And we're gonna talk about that too. Just because the workout plan is there doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna get to your goals, right? It's just a starting point. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna definitely get into it. Can you have him say his name again? I never caught it. Shout out to him. Yep. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, so it's Tywin Calendite.
There we go. She got to have something to submit to. That's a fact. And that's when you become a leader, she's going to submit to that naturally. You know what I'm saying?
So I want to speak on that because I know people are going to get riled up about it.
Let's do it.
Good. You should get riled up. But see, men also have to understand, we also have to submit. We don't get a free pass. Like, we have to submit too. I don't know what everybody's beliefs in here. You can believe whatever you want. I'm going to tell you what I believe.
Got to submit to the
plan.
We
have to submit too.
Yep.
Right? We have to submit too. We have to obey. Because if you don't submit, it just don't work.
Got to submit.
So we don't get a free pass. Right? We don't get the free pass.
No.
Because here's the deal. It comes with, there's some things that it comes with. Because guess what? When someone shows up at your house at 1 a.m. in the morning and breaks in the front door, guess what? You the leader. You got to go handle. That's your responsibility.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? When something break out, when you in public, that's your wife, your kids, your spouse, that's your responsibility. You got to lay your life down. So it goes both ways. And again, on that, you got to be ready. This is why it's so important to be mentally, physically, and spiritually prepared for whatever.
There you go.
And you have to ask yourself, like, if you're watching, and just be honest with yourself. Are you mentally and physically prepared? Like, when you're out in public, if things pop off,
are you ready to get down? Exactly.
Are you ready?
Are you ready to get down?
You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are keyboard warriors.
Right. I was about to say that, man. I gotta speak on this too, man. So this is why I love the gym too, right? And I agree with you 100%. And that's why I think that every man for real needs to get in the gym, need to get in shape, and learn how to fight. 100%. I'm gonna just keep it a whole buck with you. Like it just brings confidence. I'm not just saying like you should just go out there and just demolish, right? And I'm not telling you to be chaotic, but you need to know how to protect yourself. It's like being the samurai in the garden. I was always being told that. So you got to be willing to go there, be at peace with it, and carry yourself like a man. And with that, it comes responsibility and duty, and you have to have something to submit to, like you were saying. I wholeheartedly agree with that. And everything else to me kind of flows naturally with that. You know what I'm saying? And once I started coming at it from that standpoint, a lot more responsibility was given to me that I didn't necessarily ask for, but it was more so like, you're kind of qualified into doing this. So I want to get your advice on it. Once I started to get people that were asking me for stuff like, oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? In my mind, I'm like, I don't even know why they're coming to me, but I had to think about it from their standpoint. They think that the fact that you're doing it like this man knows how to do it. He's speaking with conviction. I think I can come to him. So it was kind of given to me at this point. Yeah. So I'm like, man, and then that kind of got me into, meeting different people, meeting brothers like you, because like we're all kind of in that same niche realm.
Yeah.
And then, like I say, everything comes back into place with it.
100%, man. I mean, you've done the work. You've done the work, so you're more than qualified. And I think this is one of the things that a lot of times we struggle with, and I struggle with that first. I'd be like, I feel bad. Like, I don't understand why these people are coming to me. Like, I don't. And here's the mistake I made. And this is a big mistake. And if anybody who's a trainer is listening to this, do not do this. So one is mistake. I would just give people information. I would give them information. I would just give it away. That's the biggest. It's not. And here's why it's the biggest mistake. It has nothing to do with you.
Right.
You're hurting them because your focus is going to go with your money. Like, have you ever been given something for free?
Yeah, you don't value it.
You don't value it. You're not going to value it.
Yep.
But your focus is going to follow your pocketbook every single time. So I'm doing you a disservice. I'm doing you a disservice.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm sure you've had maybe family members or something like that. At least I know I have, that I've helped out. I'm like, here, just do this. It's on me. Or friends, and they don't do anything with it.
Enables them. It just.
But like, yet, I got a client over here. I just charged $3,000, and they're on it.
Yes. Yep. Because they've given the value, because they're like, you know what? I'm gonna pay for it, which means I'm gonna do the work, man. And I honestly, I got a friend like that too, man. Like, and we're not friends anymore because of it. Because I realized that certain people I've enabled, and they've been just used to doing it. Like, if I was just used to just giving you free information, for example, hoping that you would actually go and do the work that I'm actually giving you, they take it and won't even do anything with it, but then want more because they're not doing the actual work and they're not getting what they want at all. And so when I'll call them out, I'm like, well, did you do what I was asking? Or did you do the advice? No. What do you expect? I can't give you anything else.
Yeah,
You won't even do the basics.
There's no skin in the game.
And then once I stopped doing that, long story short, those people with this long story, they gave me their ass to kiss. I'm like, yeah, no, you weren't for me in the first place.
Yeah. And that's good. You know what? This is such a great topic because everybody's not for you.
Exactly.
They're just not.
Yep.
And this is why I think it's so important for people to be authentic, transparent with their messaging and what they can do and what they can provide. Like for me, I help men over 30 lose weight. That's what I do. I don't help men that are 22 lose weight. I don't help women lose weight. I help men over 30 lose weight. We do it fast. We do it quick. We do it in 90 days. Why am I so specific with the clientele that I help? Because there's very specific things that it takes for them to get the kind of results that I'm promising them. Mm-hmm. So I need to focus in. Like I know their problems more than they know their problems. I've thought about their problems more than they thought about their problems. I know what keeps them up at night. I know what their struggles are. I know their pain points and I know how to fix them, right? So, and here's the thing that I believe every person should do that's selling anything, whether it's a product or service, whatever it is, you need to provide 10 times the value. You got to provide 10 times the value. So yes, I'm charging you $3,000 to come coach with me for 90 days. That's what it is. You better get on now because prices are going up. What it is.
That's true.
Here's what I can provide. Here's what I can guarantee.
Real value.
You get 10 times the value. You're going to get 10 times the value. How do I know you're going to get 10 times the value? Because I've done this so much. First of all, you're going to be a physical specimen. You're going to become a leader. Your sex life is going to change. Your relationships are going to change. You're going to become a better leader. Like I can go on and on and on and on and on about how your life is going to change. And it will. You know what I'm saying? And you do the same thing. Like the value we add is crazy. It's crazy.
I love it, man. And honestly, I think more guys need to hear this because like I did some research where they talked about the men and their testosterone levels are the lowest that has been in like years.
100%.
Years. And I had to think about it. Why? We have a lot of overweight guys here. It's just I don't know what it is, but they're not making decisions. They're not being men. They're not making they're not getting into the gym, like just different things like that. So I'm seeing it and I'm like, there's got to be a correlation here. You know what I'm saying? There's got to be some type of correlation. And so
100%. I mean, there's no way you can be your top tier self if you're just out of shape. It's impossible.
Thank you. And it's just controversial on its own.
Exactly. You know what I mean? It's just not. See, sometimes what happens is people try to tie their identity with like how they physically look. Look,
you talked about that. That was a video you did. Yeah,
you can be 50 pounds overweight. You can be the greatest husband, and you can be an amazing husband. You can be the nicest guy in the world. You can be this and that, but you're physically not as capable. And don't even compare yourself to anybody else. Just yourself. If I take 50 pounds off you and add muscle, you can't keep up with that version of you. You can't. You just can't. There's no benefits to being overweight.
That's facts.
No physical benefits to being overweight. It's just like we got to stop lying to ourselves.
Thank you. All right.
You have to stop lying to yourself. I mean, like, this isn't fat shaming. This isn't downing. I'm not any better than you. That's none of that. Right. But you are not operating at your best self if you're overweight. Hands down, no question. It's just reality. It's kind of like if someone was doing heroin. Well, if they stop doing heroin, they will be a better version of themselves. They just will be. That's facts.
Yep.
If someone's an alcoholic, if they stop drinking, they will be a better version of themselves. That's just the way it is. We have to stop lying to each other. Now, if someone chooses, if that's how they want to live their life, that's cool. No problem with that. That's your choice. And I'm good with that. But see, some people, a lot of the reason, here's what I boil it down to. There's 3 reasons people don't change. These are the only 3 reasons people don't change. Number 1, they just don't. They don't know how. Number 2, they don't know they can. Number 3, they're just too comfortable where they are. So there are only 3 reasons. So if you're on this and you're listening to this, you're like, man, I'm trying to change and I just can't. I keep falling back. I can't stay motivated. Well, ask yourself, well, do you just not know how? Do you not know you can? Or are you just really comfortable where you are? I promise you it's one of those three. Because once you determine which one it is, then you just change it.
That's insane, man. And I like the way you broke that down. We have so many people up in here, and I know y'all getting a good value from this. Actually, I got a couple other people. So there's girls on here too, and they're looking like, well, what could a woman do to change her life, right? And I think you just stated, like you said, you may not coach girls, but if you were to give someone like advice like that, if there was a woman that was trying to gain muscle, right?
Sure.
What would it be, a similar advice to it, or would there be a little bit of a different advice or a different approach?
Yeah, let me do this so I can give that person very specific. I want to answer their question specifically. So if you're still on, can you type in specifically what you would like to do? Because it's different advice. And this is a good actually talking point, because it's very important you're specific with your questions. Because, and I'm not talking about this specific person, I'm just talking about general, and I'm talking about talking to yourself. Because let's say someone says, you know what, how can I lose weight? Or how do I go about losing weight? It's different for everybody. Meaning someone that needs to lose 100 pounds is going to be different advice I give someone who needs to lose 10 pounds. Let me give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that's 100 pounds overweight, I can already tell you right now, you probably eat fast food. You probably eat a lot of processed food. You probably drink a lot of your calories. Like, there's just certain things that you do. The person that has to lose 10 pounds, they don't have those same habits. I'm not shaming one or the other, but there's just certain habits that people have. This is why I stopped asking people, well, tell me what you eat. I can look at you and tell you what you eat. I've been doing this long enough. I can look at you and tell you what you eat.
Yep.
No point in me asking that question.
That's facts.
You know what I mean? So it's all about asking better questions and more specific questions. So if they're on and they answer, I will. If not, I'll just answer.
I was just trying to find it. I'll give an example. So, like, let's say the woman is 29, right? And let's say she wants to have a body like Meg the Stallion, right? And let's just say if she's trying to gain the weight, meaning gain muscle, to have that type of figure. Let's just say she's like a stick, just basic like that. Yeah. And let's say she's not married, she's single. Like, what would be some of the steps that she could do to get to that particular look, right? And she doesn't work out.
Sure. Okay, so let's just kind of break it down. I like breaking things down to the lowest common denominator and making it like actionable. So actionable steps that they can take, like if they hear this. So we have someone, I think you said 29, a woman looking to gain the weight. She's currently underweight. Okay, doesn't work out. Well, what needs to happen in order to gain weight? Well, you have to consume more calories. You just have, these are things you have to do. You don't have a choice. All right. So first thing we need to do, we need to determine exactly what your I'm trying not to get too technical, what your BMR is. So how many calories you need just to maintain, and we need to go above that, right? Some amount, whatever you're comfortable with, 200 calories, 300 calories, 500 calories, whatever that person is comfortable with, we have to get you eating more. Also, we're going to have to develop some sort of regimen as far as resistance training. The quickest and the fastest way, which most people like quick and fast, you need to go get a gym membership and you need to start working out, right? You need to push some weight. You need to push some serious weight around, okay? And when I say push some serious weight around, I mean lift weights.
Yeah.
Like, I see women all the time, they're on the, they're on the Stairmaster. And
I knew you were going to say that.
and they kick their leg out.
Yeah.
That's the most, and I understand why you're doing that because you've seen it on Instagram, but you're wasting your time. Like, stop that. And get off that thing and go right over to the squat rack.
There you go.
Get on there and put your booty to the ground.
There
right
you
there.
Go. Ask the grass.
So we need to increase your calories. We need to get you lifting weights, and we need to get your mindset right. That's probably the most important thing. Because if you're telling me you want to look like Megan Thee Stallion, but you don't like lifting weights, that's cool, but we gotta shift your mindset. So those are the three areas that I would suggest you. And it's always those same three areas. It's your mindset, it's what you physically do to your body. So your mindset, what you physically do to your body, and what you put in your body. Those are the three things that always have to change.
And I hear this too, because like you'll hear some that will say, They want to look a certain way, but they can't stand working out. Like to me, their mindset completely has to change. Like, how can you get to a goal if you don't like the process to get to the goal? Like, to me, that makes no sense. So to my mind, that mindset would have to shift to figure out, how do you go from not liking something to, I'm not going to necessarily say you like the gym, but you know what you have to do to go get it. And maybe you do have to like it. In my mind, you have to like it to really continue on through it, or you have to attach some type of passion behind it, right?
Yeah.
How would someone create a passion to get to that goal if they don't necessarily like the process and how to get there?
It's just, you know what, this is such a great question. It's just you got to change your framework. You got to change the way you're looking at the situation.
Yes.
So here's the deal. Anybody that tells me they go to the gym and they say they like the gym, right? I'm not doubting do they like the gym, but the framework that they use is different. Let me give you an example.
Yep.
When you go to the gym and you're pushing yourself and you're working out really hard, you understand you're putting in the work to get the body that you're going to be, you're going to be able to go to the beach, take off your shirt, and you're going to be one of the best looking people. Yep. You're going to be able to stunt. You're going to be able to do all these things. So you're thinking about the end result when most people are looking at the obstacles in front of themselves. Let me give a different example. Let me use a different analogy.
I get it. And I'll break it down before you do, like, and this is why I think we said it earlier. Start with the end goal in mind. Like, so everything how you do one thing is how you do everything. Yeah. So every little rep, every process you take, I'm thinking about I'm like, hey, I know exactly where I'm going to be at. I know exactly where it's going to take me to. There's going to be different steps in how to do it, but I'm not worried about that. I'm worried more so about the end goal. I don't care what the step is. I'm willing to do that right there. Yep. And what you're saying is most people are looking at how much their mind is cluttered at this point. They're like, oh, I got to do this. I ain't worried about that. And they forget what it's going to necessarily take to get to that goal. I knew where you were going with this. I just want to break that down for people who didn't necessarily understand what that meant.
100%.
Yeah.
I give everybody freebie. This will help anybody watching this. So the way our brains are taught this is just how we are as humans. It's easier for us to find the negative in situation than the positive. This is how we're wired.
Yep.
So a lot of times they'll come to me, well, how do I lose weight, right? Or how do I gain weight? Reverse it, introverted, right? So what do I mean by that? Most people, if you ask them how to lose weight, they're not going to know where to start. They don't know what to do. But if I was to tell anybody, how would you gain 50 pounds in the next 6 months? Like 50 pounds, like how could you get yourself to a point where you're overweight by 50 pounds in 6 months? They would be like, oh, well, I would eat fast food. I wouldn't work out. I would just eat whatever I want, whenever I wanted. And they would just list on and on and on and on. Okay. Invert that and do the opposite. So if over here you wouldn't work out, work out. If over here you'd eat fast food, don't eat fast food. You just invert the process. And it's worse with anything. How do I have a great marriage? Or so someone wants to have a great marriage. Yeah. Invert it. Switch it around. How could I just have the most horrible relationship in the world? Okay, I could cheat on my wife. I could lie. I could come home at all kind of crazy hours. And you can list on and on and on and on. Do the opposite. Don't cheat on your wife. Don't lie. Come home at a reasonable time. Like, oh. So just start inverting stuff.
Yes.
Change your life.
That's a real gem, man. I don't even know if y'all caught this. We have a comment that says it's easier to eat more. Hold on. It's easy to say eat more. It's hard to actually eat more. So maybe there's a girl who's actually trying to gain the weight and they're trying to eat more, but I guess it's necessarily hard to eat more.
That's a belief. All that is a belief.
And
here, see, words have meaning and we need to be careful with our words.
There you go.
So she said, and I understand where she's coming from.
Yep.
Right. So I want everybody to understand, like when I'm not going at anybody.
Right.
The reason I'm talking like this is because I've been through all this. Either I've been through this or my client has been through this. Right. So I understand completely.
Yep.
Right. So when someone says it's hard to eat more, well, that's a belief system that you have. So you can either keep that same belief system or you can buy into some new belief system. Because here's what I do know, and I hate to get graphic. If I put a gun to your head and said, look, if you don't eat more, I'm going to pull this trigger. You're going to eat more. You ain't going to be like, I can't. It's hard. That's a belief system. Remember, it's all about how we frame things and how we look at things.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And I agree with you. Oh, we got another comment too. Here we go. I've had the same issue. Eat more small meals to make it easier. It really is a mindset thing, or it was for me. Yep, there we go. So there's solutions, and what he's saying is you can find a way. That's all that really means. Like, so if your goal really is to eat more, really, if it's really to eat more, you will find a way to get it done. Because if this is for sure, I always like to use the example. If God himself came down and said, where you want to get to, you have to eat more, I guarantee you'll find a way to make it work 100% of the time. I don't care if you feel like you shouldn't want to eat. You'll be like, you know what? He said do it. I probably should do it. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I think a lot of times people try to go from 0 to 1,000, and that's not reality. So you say, okay, let's eat more. And you can't give yourself an F before you take the test, right? So if it's hard for you to eat more, no problem. Work your way up. Increase your calories by 100 calories a day. That's easy to do.
See, there we go.
Do that for a week, 2 weeks. And then what's going to happen? Metabolism is going to speed up. You're going to want more. Increase it to 200 calories. Then increase it to 300, 400, 500. And you're good to go. Like, you're good to go. It's gravy.
That's a fact. And see, that's I like to include everything too, because like for me, if you're working out a lot, you're gonna get hungry. Man, I'm so hungry sometimes when I work out. I'm like, man, I'm ready to like down some food. Like, I started to eat more when I started to do more workouts, and I was just naturally gaining more muscle. And what I ate pretty much fed into what I was doing, and I didn't realize it. You can eat a bunch of junk food, or you can eat a bunch of clean food, and you'll look completely different. You know what I'm saying? There's a good amount of calories you can get, or there's a bad amount of calories you can get.
100%.
So that's why I've seen this. I'm pretty sure you've seen this meme where they'll show on the left-hand side like 1,300 calories. It's like a muffin, a Starbucks, like whipped cream coffee, and I don't know, a piece of cake. And then over on the right-hand side, the same calories, you have like a plate of pasta with some turkey. And then you have a whole nother plate of, what was it? Maybe like some salad with some chicken into it. So you'll have a lot more meals, but it's cleaner meals. You're still getting the calories, but you're getting cleaner meals to fuel the right type of body that you want to look for. Because it's one thing to look a sloppy 1,300 calories or a clean 1,300 calories.
Man, this is such a good point, and I want to stay here for a second and just harp on this because this used to confuse me. Like, if I go back to my old self, the whole calories, the protein, the carb, dude, I used to be so confused. I used to be like, okay, explain this protein, carb, calorie thing to me. So I used to be confused. So again, my brain is just, I like to boil things down to most simplest thing you possibly can. And what you said is so true. And I would say it like this. So the amount of calories you consume is going to dictate your actual weight. Your macros is what's going to control how you actually physically look.
There you go.
Two things.
Y'all write that down. If y'all didn't write that down.
Like, that's what it is. You know, and so I would probably tell someone at first, maybe most people, you probably just want to focus on the calories. That's a good place to start. So if you want to gain weight, we're going to put in more calories. If we're going to lose weight, we're going to put in less. If you're going to maintain, you stay at your maintain. Then once you kind of have that dialed in, then fine tune what kind of calories you're putting in your body, AKA your macros. And then that's what's really going to, just like you said, are you going to be a good looking 150 or are you going to be a sloppy 150? And you know exactly how it is. So I'm pretty much 230 pounds, 6 feet tall. Most men, if you look at your average man, if he's 6 foot, 230 pounds, he's gonna be sloppy. And he's gonna be sloppy.
It's a fact.
You know what I mean? So there is more at play. Again, this is why I always tell people, dude, just go to somebody who knows this so you don't have to figure all this out. Like, it's so much easier just to pay someone else.
So
calories determine your weight,
determine your weight, and your macros determine your look. Yep, that's a gym. That's a real gym.
So I think the girl said it was about me, but I'm 31, but I work out. I just don't gain the weight. Okay, cool. That's kind of like, do you mind if I take that?
Oh, go ahead. No, absolutely. That was the
Okay.
next thing I was going to tackle anyway. So go ahead.
So that's awesome. So first thing I would say, like, kudos to you. Congratulations for getting after it and working out. So if you're doing the workout, but you're not gaining the weight, there's really only one thing that could be, and is you're just not consuming enough calories.
Yep.
Period. So if we go back to what we were just talking about, so calories is going to determine your weight. Macros is going to determine how that weight looks. So if we use that same logic to her question, she says, I'm working out, I'm just not gaining the weight. You need to take in more calories. Period, point blank. That's all you have to do. Once you do that, you'll start gaining weight. At that point, it's your macros that can adjust. So if you start putting on the weight, you're like, I don't really like the way this looks. Adjust your macros.
There you go. Like the carbs, for example, like you may have to, like, let's say if you want to clean it up a little bit, maybe drop your carbs, maybe about 100. So let's say if you're taking in 250 carbs, maybe take 150 carbs, or maybe just do 200. Just take a little bit off, keep that consistent, and see what that looks like. Because everybody, like you said, everybody's body's different. So another thing I like to put into it is accountability and self-awareness. So you got to be self-aware of what you look like and self-aware of what happens when you eat certain foods. Like, if you eating a bunch of Big Mac burgers, you're gonna look a little crazy. So you have to be self-aware enough to be like, man, I've been putting on some weight. Well, think about how you got there. Well, I did. I've been going to McDonald's every day for about a month. Maybe I should probably cut that off a little bit, And so I think, to me, self-awareness is one key thing to really understanding how someone can look at themselves and know, okay, maybe I can make an adjustment here and there, right? So what's your thoughts about being self-aware when it comes to working out?
So I would, first of all, you have to kind of take that a step back. We have, in sometimes I think, as coaches, as professionals in the area, for us, sometimes stuff seems very common, but it's really not. So like you say, you need to have self-awareness. Some people have no idea what that even looks like. So if we kind of go back to the beginning, when we talked about the first step of learning, you have unconscious incompetence. They just don't know, right? So, but then you have the next step is conscious incompetence or conscious competence, meaning they have to actually think about it. They're not 100% sure. So how you move from where you're talking about just having self-awareness, you first have to do the step before, and you can do that by tracking. So tracking your data. So taking pictures, stepping on a scale, measuring yourself. All of these are data points, which what it's going to do is allow you to understand what's happening. Because at first, remember, we're at a different level. So you just can say, we can say, oh, just be more self-aware. Well, they don't. It sounds crazy saying this, but people don't understand eating a Big Mac is going to add to it.
You're exactly right. 100%.
They don't understand, because how many people that are on a diet, they're trying to lose weight, and they roll through McDonald's. They don't think there's anything wrong with that. So what you need to do is, once you have all these different data points, you track your food, you're weighing yourself weekly, you're doing all of this stuff, it's easy for us to say, well, look, last couple of weeks, you've been going to McDonald's, you've been eating Big Macs. Here's what the scale says. Here's what the number says. Let's try in the next 2 weeks not eating the Big Macs. You know what I'm saying? So then now they learn to be more self-aware. Like, oh, last time I went to McDonald's, this ain't work out good. Let me not go to McDonald's. Right? So now they're consciously thinking about it. And then it comes to a place where they're just like, they just don't do it. Like, I ain't going to McDonald's. Like, they already know. You just keep rolling. Like, nah, that's not an option.
Yep.
We're not doing that.
Yep. That's a fact. I like to make it real. So making it real is writing it down for me. So that way I can see exactly what's going on. You can already know, okay, I weighed this much. I ate this today. I ate this week. Okay, maybe I can do or make this adjustment next week to maybe look a certain way, but writing it down makes it real. I always like to say, you can't change what you don't track. That's another gem. You can't change what you can track.
You don't change it. Man. But if you're tracking everything, it's easy. It's so easy to figure out. Like, if I see what you're eating, if I see the workouts that you're doing, if I see your pictures, if I see all that, dude, like, we just tweak some stuff.
Just tweak.
The same thing you do. It's easy.
Yep.
You just start tweaking people's stuff. But if you don't track anything, if you just come to me and say, hey, I can't lose weight. Okay, well, what did you eat? I don't know. Well, what did your workouts look like? I don't know.
Right.
Well, what did you weigh last week? I don't know. Well, what the heck do you expect me to do?
Exactly. We can't. It's like you going to the doctor. Like if you going to the doctor, what's wrong with you? Well, I don't know. I'm just not feeling good. All right. Well, what do you mean? Well, I don't necessarily know. Like, bro, you gotta know you have to know how to like. It's like you have to know kind of how to help you. Help me help you type of deal.
Yeah.
That's
and
crazy.
Again, it's not like I understand why people do this because again, it goes back to unconscious income. We just don't know. You just don't know. Like if I back in the day, I used to play long time ago. I used to play Mario Brothers, right? You know, Mario Brothers. You go through the level. You got level 1, level 2, level 3, all those stuff. So you might be on level 1 and you might be getting stuck, and then all of a sudden you figure out how to beat the boss at the end. Once you figure out how to beat the boss, you can do it over and over and over again. So now you on level 2. So if you on level 2, for you, level 1 is easy.
Yeah.
And I'm still on level 1. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't even understand. So you're over here trying to tell me, oh, level 2 is like this. You're not going to believe it. It got this and that. I can't even see that. This is the power of having a coach, a mentor, someone that's ahead. It's like, I can give you the cheat code.
That's facts. Thank you. I like to do that. Just get the cheat code. That's real. And I want to switch some gears on this one. Like, I know we talked about it briefly, the shortcuts. The shortcuts, I want to get your thoughts on. Like, what is your thoughts on like the stuff going on, like this Ozempic and these fat loss drugs? Like I have my take on it, right? And like I get it to an extent, but what's being pushed out here, I don't know if I can get with that. But I wanted your thoughts on it because I was just curious to see if we thought the same thoughts about that.
For me, whatever floats your boat. Because you look, here's how I look at it. You can either come see me before you get on Ozempic, or you can come see me after you get on Ozempic. But either way, you're still gonna have to come see me because you don't know how the heck you don't know how to maintain that. You have no idea how to maintain it. So if I take someone who's 50 pounds overweight, I snap my fingers and magically they wake up tomorrow and they're 50 pounds less, they don't know how to stay there. A good example is when people win the lotto.
Yeah.
How can someone win $50 million and be broke in 12 months? But they've maintained their whole life off a $40,000 a year salary.
Yes, exactly.
How?
There's no way.
How does that happen?
I got a story, man. I was in college, man, and I was a freshman, so I was 18. So it was a freshman dorm. So everybody in the dorm is 18. And so the guys' floor was the odd number of floors, and the girls was on the even floor. So I was on the 5th floor. There was a girl that was on the 6th floor. She won the lotto. Now, mind you, she doesn't play the lotto at all. Like, she went to the gas station with some scratch off. Won $1 million. This is a real story. She won $1 million at 18 years old. Took a picture. She had the check, like, put it in the window so everybody can see it, right? Left college. Guarantee you, she blew that money. Now, I even asked a bunch of different, just like, in your thought process when you're 18 years old. And some of them who are 18, I had to ask them, what would you do if you just won $1 million? And they were like, well, I'll probably just go buy like a $500,000 house. I'm gonna go buy like a $100,000 car. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. You know, that's half your money gone already, right? Not to mention your bills. You gotta have $500,000 bills that come with that. And they're like, oh yeah, you still gotta eat. You still gotta do all this stuff. What are you gonna do? Buy some Gucci shoes and get laced out? Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that too.
I like what Jim Rome says. Jim Rome says, what's he say? If you win $1 million, best become a millionaire real quick. Because it's a mindset. It's gonna happen. It happens way before. Same thing with losing weight. Like it's a mental thing. Once you make that decision, you're gonna lose weight. It's already done. It's just waiting for time to catch up.
That's a fact.
So like leading to what you're talking about, like about Ozempic and all that stuff. I understand why people do that, but I always tell people, look at the pros and the cons. Mm-hmm. You know, look at the pros and cons of doing something. Like, again, if I pick you up and teleport you, I like the lotto example. It's probably the best example, like we were just talking about. You know, to take someone that has no clue how to handle $1 million and I give them $1 million, they're going to get rid of it. And here's the reason why. I'll tell you the very specific reason why. So we have this thing, it's called your comfort zone, which I'm pretty sure everybody has heard of your comfort zone, right? Here's how this works. You can either go 10% above or 10% below that. Let me give you a real life example. What do people do that, let's say I use a single mom who makes $20,000 a year, income tax comes, she has multiple kids, so she might get $10,000 back. So how is it that for the year she lives off $20,000, income tax, she gets $10,000 back, and that $10,000 is gone in a week? Why is that? The reason that happens is because she now went above her comfort zone, and she's going to spend until she gets back into her comfort zone. Mm-hmm. Well, it works the other way as well. What does someone do that all of a sudden bills due? Rent is due on the 1st. You have 2 days to figure it out. What do? You figure it out. You either borrow the money, you work some overtime, you go drive Uber, you're gonna figure it out. So what happens? You get the money because you're below your comfort zone, brings you up to your comfort zone, and then what do? You stop working the overtime, you don't drive the Uber, so you sit in your comfort zone. So the only way to change long-term is to consistently raise your comfort zone.
There you go.
So how do you raise your comfort zone? Well, you have to get used to getting outside your comfort zone. So you get outside your comfort zone until that becomes normal, and then that raises it. Then you get outside your comfort zone until that becomes normal, right? So you're consistently raising your comfort level, your comfort zone. And usually it's very hard. It's not that you can't do it on your own, but it's so much easier to do it when someone else is pushing you, when someone else is nudging you, when someone else is helping you.
I agree.
Again, I'll go back. This is why having a trainer, having a coach is so powerful.
I agree 100%. And and I agree with you because you don't know what your you don't know how to get out of that comfort zone a lot of times, especially if you're so used to doing it. Like, how do you expect to stay out of your comfort zone if you don't even, you can get there, but your comfort zone is not going to go up with you unless you have someone kind of telling you, all right, this is what you got to do now that you're in this particular example. It's like an NFL player who's a young 22-year-old kid, went to the NFL, got a contract for what? $10 million, right?
Yep.
You don't know what to do with that money. So what do? They tell you to get managers. They tell you to, hire all these different people to help manage it for you, right? Because you have to know how to do it. And so that's why you have to have people in your corner. That way you can, when you get the money, all right, this is what you need to do to keep the money. And I think that's what to me, I don't think it's get talked about enough. Once you start making money, anybody can make money. It's how you keep the money. Because the more money you make, they're going to tax you more. So you're going to spend more long term, but there are loopholes, but you got to know what to do. You got to know who to talk to, and that can help you kind of get that protected so you're not necessarily spending more. You can keep most of the money that you make. And that to me is one of the keys to the riches.
100%.
Yeah.
Agree.
Hey, and I feel the same way about Ozempic, by the way. Like, it's the same way I feel about the BBLs. Like, the BBL conversation is ridiculous. Like, most of the people who get those BBLs, they always mess up because they don't know what to do to keep that look. You know what I'm saying? And it's just funny because when you get, like, I saw this comedian, I actually reposted on my storyboard. He said it's funny because you pay all that money to get the BBL, and then over time, it goes away, but you're still paying on the money that you paid to get the BBL done. So it's just hilarious. I'm like, you're paying for something that you already lost.
Yeah, man. In terms of like, look, everybody can do what they want to do, but that does nothing for me. It's never done anything for me. I'm so grateful my wife is like natural. She don't wear makeup. She don't do all that stuff because I just find that most men don't even want that.
I don't know not one guy that says, hey, go get a BBL, I'm gonna care about you. Like, no, I would much rather have that person go to the gym because we know what the BBL is. It's a temporary fix, and you're gonna lose it if you're not doing the work. I couldn't. But here's my thing though. Like, I can understand if you had already gotten to that look before, and let's God forbid something happens, right? And maybe you want to get like a tummy tuck or something, but you know what to do to keep it off. Like maybe that's the one thing because you have the mindset for it. Or if you take Ozempic for just the small details, let's say if you're doing a bodybuilding competition, you may take Ozempic to get from 12% fat to maybe like 8, just something like that. But you know what to do to get there. Like that's my mentality. If you're gonna take it, don't take it for a cheat code. Take it to already help you get to where you're already trying to get to because you're already on that path anyway.
I think for me, I think honestly, it's it's not even a cheat code. It's like it's a train wreck. And here's what I mean: it's a train wreck because again, I'll take it back to the example we had before. The calories you put in your body is going to determine your weight. What kind of calories, aka your macros, is going to determine how it looks.
Yep.
If you're using Ozempic, all you're concerned about, all that handles is the whole calorie issue.
Yeah.
That's why when you see people, a lot of times, whether it's Ozempic or they get the weight loss surgery, they look horrible. And they have droopy skin.
Yes.
They look older. They look like they've aged. They lost the weight.
Yep.
But the way and if that's how they want to look, then fine, more be it to them.
Right.
But because they're not getting the nutrients that they need, because they're not worrying about macros, a lot of times they're not happy with the way they look. They're completely unhappy.
Yep.
So it's like this whole spiral that goes on. And it's the same people that, it's the same thing for people that get BBLs and all the other stuff. I guess it's because I'm so used to looking at bodies and I understand how they're supposed to look. Mm-hmm. To me, it just looks so odd. It looks
weird, doesn't it?
It looks so weird because glutes don't match and waist don't match and shoulder dimensions don't match. So to me, my brain just gets confused. I'm like, what am I even looking at right now? Right. Because a human is just not.
It doesn't look like a human at this point. It looks almost.
So, hey, whatever, do what you do.
People, man, they're gonna definitely do what they do, man. It's ridiculous out here.
I just see so many people that unfortunately, it's not even so much how they look, but mentally they're still not happy. Like they think that's gonna make them happy. And you know what I've seen? It doesn't. Majority of the time, it doesn't. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's where it gets kind of real sad because they think, oh, once I lose this weight, then I'm gonna feel like this. I know I am. And then they do it, and then they don't. And now you're at a loss because you don't know where to go.
I think they did it for the wrong reasons. Like I think if finding that why, I think it'll kind of help them out. It's like you said before. Like if your goal is to lose weight, well, why is it that you want to lose weight? What's the behind it, right? And so if they're not getting that, the weight's not going to matter. They can lose the weight all day, but they're not finding out their why, their true purpose.
No, because it's not about the weight. Yep. And here's how I can prove, because people are like, I want to lose. It's not about the weight. Here's how I know it's not about the weight. I've never seen someone lose weight, and then once they hit their goal, they walk around with a scale, put it on the ground, step on it, and say, look, guys, this is how much I've lost. And then go to the next person and say, this is how much I lost. It has nothing to do with the weight. That's not why you want to lose the weight. It could be maybe you want more attention from your spouse. Mm-hmm. It could be you want to feel more significant. It could be, there's a host of things it could be. Now, weight is your surface level issue, right? But if you go deep and start understanding really why you want to lose the weight, you'll have no problem staying motivated. Zero problem. But you gotta find the real reason. Yeah, you definitely do. It's the foundation, man, and it's the key. Like I know for me, man, like I didn't necessarily find it until I got that older. Like it's almost like when I went to college, right? I knew what I wanted to do when I got out. It's almost like getting that job that you wanted or you thought you wanted, right? And then when you get it, it's like, oh man, I'm here. But it's like, what else? Like, what else is there to do? You got to find deeper. I had to find deeper meaning behind it. So I noticed, like, when I was going to work and this, that, and the third, I was tired. All I was doing was going to work, coming home, going to sleep, coming to work, coming home, going to sleep. Robotic. I'm like, man, this is not how it should be, right? I'm not feeling like this is how it needs to be. And then I just went back to what I know. I wanted to feel good, look good, and everything else. So I went back to the gym, got serious, and made it a part of my lifestyle. And the best part about it is I started to do things differently, and I started to feel better. And
got more money that way. And then I said, well, what else can I do? And then I started to go more into adding more value. Once I started to add more value, I was able to give it out to people. That's when I started to notice this is where I'm meant to be. I'm meant to give this value, but I have to go get it in order for me to go give it as well and be one of the best in the craft. And so I think that's what a lot of people really, that will benefit a lot from it if they know their purpose and write it out to where it's like, oh, I know this is for me, and go get that purpose, whatever that is. And I know that the gym is a big part of that, because you can only, like you said, you can only get but so far. It's someone who's like, if you're an alcoholic versus if you're not on alcohol, you'll be way better.
Yeah.
I knew if I was 50 pounds overweight, I wouldn't be in the position I'm in now. I wouldn't be doing anything like that. Versus me being in shape, I know I'm in a way better position for it.
100%. And it goes back to kind of like we were talking before. As men, we're designed to be providers and protectors, right? So the fact that you get yourself to a point where you're able to add value, you're providing value. So provider and protector is just not your immediate, it's just not your wife, it's just not your kids. Like,
right.
You're supposed to contribute to civilization. So now you're able to give back. So it's like now you're in alignment. Like you're in true alignment. And a lot of people aren't in true. The reason you didn't like it before is because you weren't in alignment with your actual purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you shifted into alignment with your purpose, you're on a whole different trajectory. Does that mean your life magically changed? No. But because you were in alignment, it felt right.
Yes.
Like in your soul, it felt right. You were on track. So.
No,
I was the same way, bro. I was I'm saying that because the same thing happened to me. It was almost legitimately the same scenario happened to me.
Yep. And then once you found it, like you knew it was real, because you're like, you know what? This actually feels like I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah.
It really does. And you know that alignment is real because that passion starts to flare up, starts to flame. And then at that point, you kind of go off of that passion, that fuel, and that ambition. That right there, going to the wheels. I'm talking about, I'm sprinting to it. You know what I'm saying? Every day I wake up, it's like, I'm getting to it, man.
Yeah, man, for sure.
I love it. This was deep, man. I know we went a little bit over what was expected, man. So I appreciate you doing. I appreciate you coming back in on this one, man. This was
good, man.
This was a dope one right here.
It's always good, definitely, man. Just chopping it up, having these kind of conversations, and just giving back. I'm a real big believer in just giving back, because I know I needed that. Along my journey, people pouring into me, whether it's actual people pouring into me, books, whatever it was, like that's how I got to where I've gotten thus far. So it's my responsibility, it's my obligation to give back.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean?
I do, and I really do, man. And I didn't think about it until like one of the people that did it for me was my granddad, right? And he had recently passed away, and so I just thought about all the times that he was just giving and giving and giving and giving. I'm like, I'm doing it for him. Like I'm part of the reason I'm doing this for him, because he poured so much and understood the value, and he wanted to make sure that we all took that information and wanted to do something good with it. So I'm doing right by the fact that he gave so much. I got to give it back too. Yeah. Whoever I can help out with it, I'm gonna do that with. You know what I'm saying? And then that right there keeps me fueled, and it keeps me consistent and on top of it.
And that's a good point, man. I think it's so important to just plant the seeds. Plant the seeds and don't worry about the outcome of that. Just continuously plant the seeds. It's kind of like your grandfather. I'm sure probably back in the day, like you didn't even realize he was pouring into you, and you didn't realize the value in it at that time. But there came a day when you're like, it hit you, you're like, oh, that's what he meant. Oh, that's what he was trying to say. And the same thing is for us. There's probably people that are going to watch this and they don't take any action yet. But you know what? A seed was planted.
There you go.
So with every piece of content you put out, with every podcast you do, you're planting seeds. Sometimes those seeds land on, thorny ground and nothing happens to them. But sometimes they land on fertile ground and it starts to germinate and it starts to grow. And the germination process is different for everybody, right? So the time it takes to create a human is 9 months, right? So the time it takes to create a bamboo tree is years. So you never know. You never know when someone's going to take off. You never know when it's somebody's time, but it is our obligation to continue to plant the seeds. And so kudos to you, man, and everything you're doing and all the work you're putting on and just all the effort. I know what goes into that, man. So just keep doing what you're doing.
No, that's a fact, man. No, and I got to give it to you too, man, because I got to give you props. Like, you know, what you're doing and you're planting the seeds because, like, I see the benefit, man. I'm looking at the videos, man. I'm in the trajectory where it's going. It's always gonna be here, man. And the videos and stuff that we're putting out, the content, like someone's gonna look at it and be like, they may, like you said, they may not see it today. They come back, they're gonna be like, you know what, this guy's on to something. Like, we have a couple people in the chat actually, you know what I'm saying? The guy said he was when he was 18, like he definitely didn't know. And these are things that we're planting, and it's like, you know what, these brothers are talking about something. I like to see stuff like that all the time. I love it. Anything we can do to kind of help people. And I think this type of message should be pushed more. And that's what I'm here for. You know what I'm saying? I already know you're doing it too. And, you know, we definitely going to keep that thing going.
100%, man. 100%.
That, man. So I appreciate everybody for joining the chat. I appreciate y'all on IG, man. We're going to get up out of here. I know you got things to do, brother. So I appreciate you. We're going to get up out of here. Where can they find you at if they want to reach you on like your social media or a website, whatever you have?
Yeah, man, absolutely. So you guys can, anybody that wants to maybe just get some more information, get more knowledge, you can follow me on Instagram at Tywin Kalandyk. That's TYWINKALANDYK. The only Black Polish dude you'll probably ever meet.
Right.
So follow me on there, man. There's tons of free content on there. Enjoy it, soak it up, and then take it and do what you will. And if you take the content in and you decide, you know what, I need a little more help, I need a little more guidance, just slide in my DM and we'll have a conversation. If I can help you, I'll help you. If I'm not the guy for you, maybe I can pass you off to someone who can.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. You already know, man. Kobe Rise and Rise. We about this thing. I appreciate you, Tywin. We're going to get up out of here. When we're faced with an obstacle, you know what we do, y'all. We rise and we rise.
Love
Peace.
Let's go. You guys